You shouldn't be afraid to ask questions. The way I found it phrased like this: it's no one else's responsibility to make sure you understand. My name is Stanley. Right now we're in Space 4. I work as a junior machine learning engineer for a company called SID, and it's a startup that is building a well-being app that's super holistic.
You're watching Local Insiders Digital Jobs. We spoke with digital industry professionals in Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets to understand their different pathways to finding digital jobs. Amos Mukombero in conversation with Stanley Mwangi, presented by Lift and Good Growth Hub.
What's the pathway into your career?
I originally went to uni to study computer science, but due to personal reasons I wasn't able to complete the degree. Even from my time there, what I was interested in was artificial intelligence. I left university thinking, okay, cool, even though I can't learn in a formal setting, a lot of universities were actually putting their courses online. So I was like, hey, maybe I can try some of these MOOCs, these massive open online courses, teach myself like some Python and some data science, and then see where that takes me. So I started building my own curriculum. I did manage to teach myself Python, and I taught myself the basics of like data science. And I built a few projects, like some toy projects, that kind of thing. But you know, it still wasn't enough to get me into the field. What I used to do was actually go to events which were being held by the AI community. So there's one community called London AI, for example, which holds regular events. We've also got PyData London, and I'd be attending these events. And I'm telling you, Amos, I had no idea what they were saying. They used to be speaking all this jargon. I was like, mate, what does that mean? I felt super, just like stupid at times. But what I didn't realize was that actually I was attending super advanced talks. And it's by actually going there again and again, meeting people, asking them for advice about, oh, how should I break into the field, that I would get suggestions like, you know, start building a portfolio. Maybe do this course instead of that other course. Practice on this platform called Kaggle. So by doing this, I started getting a better understanding of what machine learning was about. Towards the end of, I think like last year, ChatGPT came out. As soon as I saw ChatGPT, I was like, this is it, it's now or never. So I actually ended up making a very cool portfolio project. I used ChatGPT to make 52 poems in about a day, and I put them all together into a book. And I put this poetry anthology on Amazon. I'd say the total time it took me to become a published poet, right, is about maybe a week. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So actually, you know, it's in one of these conversations where I was talking to one of my friends, and he was like, Founders and Coders, they're doing machine learning apprenticeship. We should go check them out. And that's how I came to know about this machine learning apprenticeship. I got into the apprenticeship and built this recommendation system project, learned with other people, social learning, and through the apprenticeship is actually how I got my first role at SID. It's been a bit of a long journey, but every part of it has been worthwhile. I've learned the most, and I'm really happy to be able to share with you.
No, incredible. You know what? I love how you use your initiative. You know, you kind of like prompted yourself to start, and then from there, that's when you was getting these little nuggets of information to upskill even more. So you're a published poet.
Yes, I am.
Amongst your many other skills.
Yeah, it's good to be a man of many talents, I think. Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give to your young self?
Two major things. One, ask lots of questions. Machine learning, AI, even tech in general, is a field that's constantly evolving. So you actually need to be asking questions and building that curiosity, because that's what keeps you at the cutting edge. You shouldn't be afraid to ask questions. The way I found it phrased like this: it's no one else's responsibility to make sure you understand.
Stan, so I'm really curious to know, obviously with your career, there must be some challenges that you face. I'm curious to know what those challenges may be and how you overcome them.
One of the biggest challenges is the learning curve. This is my first position as a junior machine learning engineer, and also my first software development position. There's a lot to learn. So learning how to be productive in that environment has been quite challenging, just because I'm also working remote as well. So there's an added layer to getting information. If it was like a normal job where my colleagues were in the office, it'd be very easy to just, you know, boom, oh, what should I do, etc., etc. When you're working remote, you know, it doesn't feel quite the same. Now, with the learning curve, I think that's just been about actually finding out the best places to get information and not trying to get all the information and then do something. Sometimes actually, especially because I work in a startup environment, what's important is the ability to ship software, to build something, even if it's not great at first, but then refine it over time. So definitely I've been also asking friends, ask my mentors, finding just some key resources where I go to time and time again whenever I'm stuck, and of course using ChatGPT.
In regards to people's perceptions of your career, are there any misconceptions about your career, and if there are, what are those?
I think we spoke about this lone developer idea, right? Nothing could be further from the truth, Any of the apps that we use on a daily basis, think social media apps, think even your to-do list, they all had a team behind them. So just seeing that software development and machine learning engineering is a team effort. I think that's a huge misconception.
Do you know what, that ties into my next question. What your sector or your industry needs to do more of,
Sure.
or what your sector needs to do less of?
Okay, so I do think we need more representation and more diversity in the field. Like I said, we are making systems that are affecting society, and it's important that we have as many different viewpoints. We all do think differently based on the background we come from. No one can have a complete 360 view of how a technology is going to be used or how it's going to be misused. At the end of the day, each of us are just human beings. That's why we work together in teams to achieve great things. And so I think having more people from different backgrounds will actually bring in a lot of views that the field sometimes misses.
What is the role of your local community in impacting, facilitating and informing your career path?
I think it's very important. So like I touched on earlier, I work in Space 4, and what I like about Space 4 is, one, we have a very strong sense of community. I'd say the next thing is, because I do work with other creatives in the space, it's cool for collaborations. So I spoke about like this hackathon project that I did the other day, and that was only possible because one of the people at Space 4 was literally working on the desk next to me. So it's very easy to form connections which can lead to further collaboration. The next thing I'd say is, sometimes it's the most unexpected conversations that have the biggest impact.
How do your network support your professional development, and is there any overlap in between social and your professional?
Great question. There definitely is some overlap, and I do get a lot of support from my networks. So actually, interestingly, my best friend was in the AI space before me. So he was actually able to give me a lot of tips and insights, how I should structure my CV, how I should apply for different positions, that kind of thing. So he was both, socially supportive because he knew I had it in me in terms of the ability to be in the field. And he kept me going, for a long period of time when there were times where I was like, man, am I ever going to get in? So he was both there as a friend, like just in a social aspect, but also in a professional capacity.
The last question I'd love to ask is, if someone wanted to get into your career, what would you say to them?
They've chosen one of the best careers to get into, and actually the world is becoming more and more driven by AI. It's affecting every industry. So I think they should definitely feed that spark, that passion. I'd recommend checking out also YouTube. Actually has a lot of really good machine learning content. Find funny machine learning videos on YouTube, explanations on YouTube. You could find out about how other people go into the field. So definitely using YouTube as a resource is something I'd highly recommend.
What does the future look like for you?
The future looks extremely bright. Yeah, but I'd say I definitely want to keep going in this career. The next position I'm aiming for is that of a research engineer, and hopefully I'll be heading to the States soon in the next 5 years. After that, definitely starting my own business, and yeah, just turning the world upside down, in a good way, of course.
Stan, it's been such a pleasure going on walk with you. I've learned so much. Hope you guys have learned a lot too.
This video has been presented by Lift and Good Growth Hub, supported by Mayor of London, in partnership with Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets Borough Councils. Creative direction and visuals by Walk with Amos and Usman Dare. Lift supports people from underrepresented backgrounds living in Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets to find jobs and training in the tech, creative and science sectors. For more information, visit www.liftfutures.london.